Hi, I'm Bryce.
Hi, I'm Justine.
And we went to the REEF, which stands for the Research, Education, and Experience Facility. And it was in UCSB, California.
So at the reef, we mostly took care of animals by doing a lot of husbandry things. So we would like clean their tanks and feed them food and things like that. So here you can kind of see was all like the stuff that we use. So like nets that we'd use to get shells out of the thing and like dead fish they didn't eat, and then siphon tanks, we'd clean up all the dead fish they didn't eat. They didn't eat a lot of fish. Here's us carting a tank, so we're getting all the algae off of the tank so that when people come to visit, they can see and it's not all just like algae. And so you have to be very careful. This is tank 8. It's a really big tank. There's 2 eels in it. So you have someone standing on the other side, telling you about whether or not the eel's going to come, because if they do come, they can bite off your arm. So that's really fun. And then here is some tropical tanks. We're growing coral in them. And yeah. No. Nope.
Okay, so here are some of the animals we worked with. On the far left is Boris. He's a gigantic lobster. If you look in the back, there's Justine, so that's how big he is. And he's about 85 years old. And then next to him is the same type of lobster, but a lot smaller. So they grow huge. And then on the far right is what's called a sea hare, and it's just a sea slug. It's just cool. It like jiggles in your hand, and and if you scare them, they can put out like a pink ink, which can kill all of the other animals in the tank. So,
Be careful.
so fun.
So then some other animals we had were sea stars. So we had a bat sea star over here, and then a giant spiny sea star, and then a warty sea cucumber, and they're just a long thing. Yep, there you go.
Okay, so we did a bunch of programs where we taught a bunch of young children about the animals. And on the far left was a cool program. We brought a mobile reef, which has just a bunch of animals, to a group of terminally ill children. So we taught them about all the animals and gave them a fun time with all of them. And then, so on the far right is some holdfast, and that's basically the roots of kelp. It holds the kelp from floating away, and inside of it are a bunch of little critters that you can find and take out of the stuff, and that's what the girls in the middle are doing.
So we both kind of did a little bit of research. So I got to design my own research experiment over here with the California two-spot octopus. So they have the ability to change the color of their skin and create patterns to hide into their environment. I tested the ability of them to change certain colors, so their color range. And so we did a green, a blue, and then a pattern. They cannot change blue, but they can turn green and a pattern.
Okay, I didn't get to do very much research because the animals were really endangered. They were white abalone, and they're reproductively extinct. So we were trying to see if we could put them back into the wild after captivity. So we would put a sea star and see what their reaction was, and depending on it, we would try and potentially release them back into the wild. Okay, that's Kyler. He was my mentor. He didn't have any research going on at the time, so he just taught me about the tropical tanks, and that's about it.
And then my mentor was Jessica. She also didn't have any research, but she had a special tank that wasn't at the reef, so we'd go there a lot. And then our boss was Scott Simon.
Yeah. That's okay. During my free time, I spent all of it at the beach. That was just all I did, pretty much. And then, other than that, I had the little cat on the left, and it needed insulin shots. So I had to give it some insulin shots every other night, so yeah, a lot of fun.
So then during my free time, I didn't actually put a picture up of it, but Jonah and I, another Pinhead intern, went to a soccer game, and that was really fun. And then I was living with a college student, and we went to Disneyland together for one day.
Okay. So, advice to future Pinterns is just communicate. That was a struggle for me, but 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 it's really important. You got to ask those questions, figure out what's going on, and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'd like to say a big thank you to Sarah and to everyone that helped us.